Lequita Brooks here. I am your social impact speaker and strategist. Welcome to Social Impact Sundays at 6, where we have massive social impact that leads to income. And today we have Josh McNeil. He is a social work coach and consultant. He's done some grant writing for this amazing yoga program. He is a DSW. Yes, he is working on his doctorate of social work. He is very passionate about Black mental health and a lot of other things related to social work. Welcome, Josh.
Namaste. Appreciate you.
Yes, namaste. I love yoga also. So tell me, what inspired you to pursue a degree in social work?
Really, I know prior to us, recording, I let you know into Florida A&M. To keep it short, I was a RA at Florida A&M University. So I realized I was kind of good working with other young people. I helped at FAMU High School, helped to tutor like preschoolers to practice the FCAT, if anybody knows what the FCAT is. And then also through FAMU, I was a day camp counselor at different military installations and Army base in Germany, an American Army base in Germany, Navy base, Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, and also the Tokyo Embassy. So all this experience working with children and young people kind of put me here, right? And then when I graduated from Florida A&M University, I did a program called City Year Boston. And, I worked with kids who needed some extra supports, a lot of Black and brown, poor white kids, Asian folks, Asian kids as well. And really, it just, what I realized through going to my therapy is I was trying to be there for these young people because my father wasn't there for me. So it's really just me reclaiming who I am and my healing, but also being there for other people. And I definitely realized if you want to be a helper, you have to help yourself first.
And Josh, I'm so glad you said that. That's one of the things I love about social work is because a lot of times the people that we help is the younger version of ourselves.
Yep.
The things that we desire to have that we might not have had, or it could have been improved upon, we'll say it that way. And that's the exact reason why you went into social work and you do a lot of the things that you do.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I know that you're working on your doctorate of social work degree. So soon we're going to be calling you Dr. McNeil. So what made you decide to, pursue your doctorate?
I just felt there was opportunities to improve academic knowledge on Black men in social work, Black men in general, even outside of social work. We have the shortest lifespans, and also those that are Indigenous men as well. But I'm a Black man. That's my only real race. So I just trying to be there for people that look like me and my culture. That's kind of what wanted me to get the doctorate degree. But there's no social work school does not teach you about anything to do with Black men at all. They don't even teach you, I know you're talking about before we got on, like entrepreneurship, this, that, and third. They don't teach you how to be an entrepreneur. They don't teach you how to be a coach, none of this stuff. So I wanted to get into social work to, increase the knowledge on Black male health, Black male wellness, Black male social work faculty. And I mean, even with me, I battled with hypertension and high cholesterol, and I turned to be a vegan, plant-based vegan for health purposes, and then for spiritual purposes. I'm a really big yogi. I take yoga and meditation, my Peloton. I got my Apple Watch on. I take that very seriously, but also if you want to see the change with others, like I said, you have to start with yourself. So trying to change myself, trying to look at clinical ways to help Black men out, but also bigger ways. How do we vote? Voting, in my opinion, is part of social work. How can we vote for certain bills? How can we discuss certain, laws and things that affect Black men's health at all encompasses? So that's why I kind of more so got into social work. And I'm petty a little bit because my brother's getting his PhD in African American history. I remember one time he's like, looks like you're not, because initially I applied to go to the Boston College School of Social Work. I got my MSW from Boston College. And my brother had gotten into his PhD program in African American Studies. He too is a Florida A&M rattler. I remember him just trying to be like gaining on me, like, okay, looks like I'm getting a little bit ahead of you in this whole doctoral thing. So I think he's going to eat his words, hopefully within the next month or two when I become Dr. McNeil, before he becomes Dr. McNeil. But then also in my DNA, my great-great-great-grandfather in North Carolina was an educator. You know, I had educated caretakers and Black male educators from my grandmother's side, South Carolina, who taught the family. So it's in my DNA to be an educator and be in the space where I'm at right now.
It was just destined to be, because like you said, it is who you are. And while we're talking about you being an educator, educate our audience about some of those things related to Black men, whether it's mental health, whether it's physical health, whether it's spiritual wellness, because you even tapped into that. Tell us about some things just to let our audience know, like, hey, let's get rid of some of these myths and let me educate you about Black men from those, different standpoints.
So I'll say my first thing is it's just going to take more than just therapy. The tip of the iceberg is therapy. It's if a brother who's come home, who's dealt with the incarceration system, is he able to get certain benefits? Is he able to get a job afterwards? Is he able to get housing? Is he able to get health insurance, right? Is he able to get medications that he may need? Because if you're incarcerated, many times your hypertension and your cholesterol is exacerbated. Are you able to get those services? Are we as a society able to give space to Black men, put our money where our mouth is? Because a lot of people talk about, just therapy, just drop, it's like a penny in a bucket or some, it's holistic, right? A lot of times Black men one of the things, the markets for Black men's health is, being rooted in Afrocentricity and spirituality. A lot of people don't know that, if I'm saying this correctly, Smai Tawi, which is Kemetic Yoga, that predated what was, and there's nothing to compare, try to, respect for both ways, but yoga really started in Kemet, right? And a lot of brothers don't know that. And when you do yoga, it's more about Smai Tawi, it's more about your breathing, it's more about being mindful. And then the moves come from that, which is the physical part, right? But it's going to take a lot of different macro layers and micro layers to improve Black men's health. But it also goes with like voting, who are the people that are not even just, those presidential elections and things like that, but people in your backyard who can help you to get these things off. You know what I mean? And we need healing spaces for Black men. We need, care and prevention clinics for Black men. There needs to be group therapies. Like all these things need to be backed by money, but also backed by Black men for these services. And, a lot of times we try to double dip in, there's different cultures. You can say Black or brown men, and there's nothing to be divisive, but there's different people, different needs, different cultures. And I'm more so of the fact of, trying to find those specific interventions and understandings based upon, I'm Black American. My ancestors were shipped here from Africa and had to build this country up. To be Black American, we have to look at it from that standpoint. Are you a Black Latino, Black Latinx male? Are you Black from the Caribbean? Are you Black from Africa? Are you Black biracial? Are you Black indigenous? There's so many things people just overlook and just, broadly Black men, but it's, it's deeper than that.
I'm so glad you highlighted that. Yes, like Black comes in so many different forms, and yet we're expected to be in this one box. Oh, you're just Black. And no, because the cultures are going to be so different, whether you're Black American or Black Caribbean or, Black Latinx, like you said, so different.
Yeah.
So what would be something that you would say for someone who's like, I desire to do more when it comes to with Black men? What would you recommend that they do? Like they're more grassroots. They might not have a huge budget. They might not have $1 million budget. They might not have a grant. But what is something that just the everyday person who's in a place they have a level of success and now they have capacity to give of their time and talents to do some things to make an impact in the lives of Black men? What would be some of those themes that you would share to support them with being able to have that impact to support our Black men?
I would say first you want to start with looking up the Commission on the Social Status of Black Men and Boys. And it was actually a bipartisan thing that came into fruition, a lot to do with the Congressional Black Caucus, to kind of see like what are the barriers and the things that are hindering Black men. How can they live stronger and longer lives, right? Because Black men, since the pandemic has been here, our lifespans have been shortened actually. For recollect right, it was before the pandemic, we lived to be just over 70. Now our lifespans are just under 70. That's kind of scary, So I would say start there. And I'll also say, like, depending on who you are, like my question to that person is, why? Right? Because there's people who try to be saviors or who try to use the momentum and the motion of what is the thing based upon what is being discussed as being Black this or Black that. My question to them is why do you want to do this? Like, what is in it for you? Is your heart really in it? Right? Are you like a savior that's trying to come and sometimes for some capitalize on Black pain and Black suffering, which there's a lot of people who do that. We ain't gonna name no names, but people who do that, right? So I would ask those questions and then say, start with the Commission on the Social Status of Black Men and Boys, and maybe have a discussion with your church, your synagogue, your mosque, your family, people in your community about what goes on, and then also talk to your local politicians and see how much money and time and effort are they putting into some of these things too, And I think also a big thing is we're not all Christian, but a huge swath of us are Christians, and the Black church has a very big impact. So how are we able to support Deacon Jones and Mr. Rufus Washington? I'm not saying a specific name, but Mr. Rufus and Earl and Mr. Willie. How can you talk to Mr. Willie and them who, it's like, they're like the Cowboys. They got their truck out back. You know what I mean? How can you talk to them and engage with them and be patient with them? You have to have patience. You gotta love Black men before you even get started on, trying to look at some of these things. So, that's where I would start.
Wow, and I'm just here giggling because I see the truck in the back of the church. I grew up Baptist, so I'm just, oh my God, I can relate to that so much. And as you know, as social workers, it is a female-dominated profession. So how can we get more Black men to be social workers? Because, it's like, it's so female-dominated. So what do you say?
Yeah, Dr. Raquel Martin, she's a psychologist. Props to her at Tennessee State. If I recollect right from what she was saying that a lot of times you don't see, maybe Black men going to therapy, I think, or something like that, she said, or Black men becoming therapists, is because a lot of times we've, as a society, have been so preconditioned and will condition to tell men to suck it up, be a man, not show emotions. We need to really look at ourselves and give space to Black men, right? Be patient with Black men as a society to even get to that point of getting Black men. And then maybe, I don't know, I might not be alive to see it. There's Black men out there, we could do some things now, but in a huge swath of what, people may see, it's going to take some time. But I really think it's really about going to these social work departments, talking to their deans, looking at the demographics of what's going on, seeing how come, why there might not be some Black male social workers there. What fears and stressors do they have? Many times, this is not just Black men or Black masculine presenting persons, if I want to be inclusive. It's all Black people who are in academia for these spaces. There's more service projects that we have to do. There's more mentoring that we have to do. And once we stop our 9 to 5, our skin is still our skin afterwards. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. So I'll ask these social work programs, if you really want to put your money where your mouth is, why? And are you ready to be patient and reframe your ways of looking at things as progress or a process or capitalism to support those that look like me in this profession, right? How can you retain and support Black male social work professors, right? How can you support and recruit Black male social work students, be it the BSW, the MSW, the DSW, or the PhD, or even the associates? Like, we have to look at it from the bottom up and then see from there. What's making them stressed about not wanting to come, right? Sometimes too, maybe Black men may feel, if it's a very woman dominated and very white woman dominated, I ain't trying to go too deep, but like there's a history to, I'm not trying to go over there. Also, we have to educate people on people like, Whitney M. Young Jr., right? Ron Dellums. There's been Black men who've been doing this for a long time. Give love to the NABSW, the National Association of Black Social Workers. See what Black men that were there to teach these young men. You may not see yourself reflected in everyday social work as much as you may think, but you're there. And also, you don't have to be the tough social worker who has to go and deal with clients that other people don't want to deal with, because that's what they always try to push us to do. Go into certain places because Karen and Katie don't want to do that. We have to be able to really invest in the health and wellness and the future of Black men in social work and Black men in social work, from the student level to the faculty level.
You said a mouthful, but basically put your money where your mouth is at.
Yeah, because 4 years ago was the whole George Floyd thing, and you see a lot of the DEIs getting voted against, people making these promises and pledges, and they're going to read these books. We're back to like before the pandemic. So, actions in these, not words and lip service, money talks and the other stuff walks.
Okay. So what is next for you, Josh? I know you're going to be doing some speaking, some consulting, probably some more grant writing, soon to be Dr. McNeil, I might add once again. What's next?
Rest. I have the rest deck here, 50 practices to resist grind culture. This is by, if I'm saying her name correctly, Trisha Hersey. And, maybe take some time to rest, reset, and collect myself, because, teaching, being a therapist, being a student, it takes a toll on you. And a lot of times too, we have to be honest with ourselves, right? We live in a society where it's like we're in a hamster wheel all the time, going. But like, people don't really realize that your real midlife is at 35. You know what I mean? We have to realize time is precious. We have to realize we have to stop and smell the flowers. And we have to realize where that line is for each of us, which is different. Like, how can I support myself? How can I maintain certain things? But how can I not do too much? There's a lot of people who pass away and transition, when they're in this academic roller coaster, this academic hamster wheel of doing things. So I'm gonna rest first, then I'll see what I'm gonna do. But it's definitely gonna be, maybe it can be 6 months down the line, it can be a year, it can be 10 years. Definitely coaching, social work coaching, or just life coaching, social work coaching, life coaching, doc coaching. You never know. Might even write a book. Definitely want to do some speaking engagements. And also definitely want to lead some yoga classes. Once I'm finished with my DSW, I hope to get back into my yoga teacher training courses so I can teach some yoga. That's probably going to happen, hopefully, sooner than later. So just rest, resetting, getting back into yoga teacher stuff so I can teach yoga, and then get into some entrepreneurial things.
And Josh, I'm confident that once you get this rest, you reset, you're going to get so much more clarity, and you're going to know what's going to be the best next steps for you, whether that's 3 months, 6 months, a year, whatever it might be. You'll know exactly what that next thing is for you. And I just want to say thank you for joining me today on the Social Work Movement docuseries.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Love what you do on LinkedIn, and you are definitely a breath of fresh air to my LinkedIn timeline, and just in general. Because I told you, my fiance looks up to you as well. So thank you for all you do.
Heartfelt. And with that, I am Lequita Brooks, your social impact speaker and strategist. Thank you for joining us today for Social Impact Sundays at 6, where we have massive social impact that leads to massive income. And make sure you go to thesocialworkmovement.com to get involved. Make sure you go to thesocialworkmovement.com. Until next time, have an amazing day.